The decline and fall of ancient Rome. The fall of the Roman Empire was no doubt an earth-shattering event in Western civilization in history. From their remarkable architectural feats to their enduring legal and political systems, the Romans shaped the world in ways that continue to influence our lives today. However, like all great empires, the Roman Empire eventually met its downfall. There was a time when the Roman Empire had established a very noble civilization with a strong economy, effective ruling and legal systems, a formidable army, and a rich and unique culture. They simply had it all in the 2nd century AD. But things were supposed to be different. So, the Roman Empire was at its finest in the 2nd century AD. But, after a few centuries, this spectacular ancient superpower weakened, collapsed, and finally disappeared. During its rise, the Roman Empire stretched from Britannia to Egypt, from Hispania to Asia Minor, comprising a rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and peoples. This incredible empire was built on the twin pillars of military might and civil administration, with legions securing the frontiers and Roman law governing the provinces. It was a time of unparalleled prosperity, known as the Pax Romana, when the empire enjoyed relative peace and stability. However, beneath the surface, the Roman Empire's foundation began to weaken. A series of events and challenges, both internal and external, sowed the seeds of decline. 300 AD, economic turmoil and the shattered foundations of slave labor. Rome faced a crisis that not only threatened its dominance, but also exposed the fault lines running through its very core. While external forces besieged the empire, internal woes were equally devastating. Rome was not only being attacked by external forces, but was also collapsing internally due to a severe financial crisis. The imperial coffers had been severely depleted by constant wars and excessive spending, and the wealth gap had been exacerbated by inflation and harsh taxes. Rome's economy relied on slaves to labor in its fields and as artisans, and historically, its military might brought in new conquerors to fill the jobs. But Rome's supply of slaves and other war booty dried up when the expansion came to an end in the 2nd century, 380 AD. Faiths ascended and the unraveling of Roman traditions. The spread of Christianity correlated with Rome's decline, and some have suggested that the emergence of a new religion had a role in the fall of the Roman Empire. The turning point arrived in 313 AD with the Edict of Milan, legalizing Christianity, and later in 380 AD when it ascended to the status of the state religion. While these decrees marked the end of centuries of Christian persecution, they also ushered in a momentous shift, one that could have eroded the traditional values deeply ingrained in Roman society. Christianity's ascent meant the displacement of the polytheistic Roman religion, which had long venerated the emperor as a divine figure, and a refocusing of the populace's devotion from the glory of the state to a singular deity. It's a tale of profound change and its potential impact on the empire's fate. 330 AD, the rise of the Eastern Empire. When Emperor Diocletian split the Roman Empire in two, with the Eastern Empire based in Byzantium, later known as Constantinople, and the Western Empire centered in Milan in the late 3rd century, part of Western Rome's fate was set. In the short run, the division made the empire easier to rule, but eventually, the two parts drifted apart. The Latin-speaking West experienced an economic crisis as the Gulf grew, while the Eastern Empire, which spoke Greek, prospered. Most significantly, barbarian invasions were deflected to the west by the might of the Eastern Empire. Government corruption and political instability. If Rome's sheer size made governance challenging, weak and erratic leadership only made matters worse. Even though ruling Rome had always been a dangerous job, in the turbulent 2nd and 3rd centuries, it almost came to be considered a death sentence. The empire was thrown into chaos by a civil war, and in just 75 years, more than 20 men, typically following the assassination of their forebear, took the throne. The emperor's bodyguards, the Praetorian Guard, had the authority to assassinate, remove, and even auction off the position to the highest bidder. The Roman Senate was also affected by the political decay since it was largely corrupt and inept, which prevented it from reigning in the emperor's excesses. Civic pride declined as things got worse, and many Romans lost faith in their government. 200 BC, 500 AD. Invasions by barbarian tribes, the decline of the Roman Empire entered its darkest chapter during the fourth act. Barbarian invasions, symbolizing both external pressure and internal weakness, dealt devastating blows. The simplest explanation for Western Rome's demise blames a string of military defeats at the hands of hostile forces. Though Rome had long been at odds with Germanic tribes, barbarian groups such as the Goths had begun to push past the boundaries of the empire by the 300s. The Romans weathered a Germanic uprising in the late 4th century, but in 410, the Visigoth king Alaric successfully sacked Rome. Before the Eternal City was raided once more in 455, this time by the Vandals, the empire was constantly in danger for the next few decades. Ultimately, in 476, Emperor Romulus Augustulus was overthrown by a rebellion led by the Germanic leader Odoacer. No Roman emperor would ever again hold a position of authority in Italy after that, which is why many people consider 476 to be the year the Western Empire finally fell. 400, 500 AD, overexpansion and military overspending. The Roman Empire, which at its height spanned the Atlantic Ocean to the Euphrates River in the Middle East, may have been doomed to fail due to the administrative and logistical nightmare that arose from having to manage such a large territory. Even with their first-rate road systems, the Romans were unable to communicate efficiently or quickly enough to manage their holdings. By the 2nd century, Emperor Hadrian had been forced to construct his fabled wall in Britain merely to keep the enemy at bay, as Rome struggled to muster enough troops and resources to defend its frontiers against both outside attacks and local rebellions. The Roman civil infrastructure deteriorated and technological advancement slowed as increasing amounts of money were directed towards maintaining the military might of the empire. The fall of Rome. The Goths sacked the city of Rome. 66 years later, Romulus Augustulus, or the Little Emperor, was deposed, and the Roman Empire in the west side was at an end. It's estimated that over 200 contemporary theories have been proposed to explain Rome's collapse. These include the increase in Christian clergy and monks, so many hungry mouths to feed, and impotence from taking too many hot baths. According to some scholars today, the fall of Rome was the result of negotiations and compromises between the Romans and the various barbarian peoples. Some have more persuasively emphasized the carnage, devastation, and terror of its fall. This world-changing event's enduring fascination is supported by such lively debates. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments section below. For more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to be always updated with the latest videos as soon as they're uploaded. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.